welcome back to Tarot Tats and Tea, and to this, our final episode of Ancestral Grimoire. This has been a rather magical journey that has lasted a full 12 months. We started off in January and we are now ending in December. As I have repeated many times, I've worked this in seasons as opposed to month to month to month. Now, albeit I've worked through this in the seasons, during the 3 months of each season, I have partaken in activities that I do feel our ancestors would have been involved in. Well, they would have been involved in, whether it's magical practices, whether it's foraging and growing, planting and gathering from our garden and our greenhouse, to use in our cooking, to use in oils that I've made, to use in tinctures. All these sort of things have really grown and been a big part of my life for this last 12 months, and I know will continue to do so. I have had a potting shed delivered, and that is going to be something I'm going to focus on, and we'll make videos and pop them up here for people to see how that is incorporated in my life and in my tarot too. Tarot from the potting shed. Now, in December, this is Family Magic and Magical You. And you will need tarot, personal card, manifesting ball or ornament, and a sigil. Now, this is like bringing it to a full circle, because if you recall, we created a personal card at the very beginning, and we also created a sigil, which I might add is still here, has been for the last 12 months on my altar here, and my card has been within my grimoire. Now, this time we're creating a second personal card and a second sigil, stronger and filled with more knowledge than at the very beginning of this journey. But we'll talk about them when we get to them. This particular month is full of spreads, a lot of very deep tarot spreads. Now, I have already worked through all this, and I'm sharing with you what I have done. Let's get on with it. Now, December's magician, so we need to find out who we're working with, as we have done each time. Let's begin, as we do each month, by setting an intention to find an ancestor you can work with throughout this month. Perhaps you want to know more about your ancestors' magical abilities, or how they can help you find yours. This is the month of the magical you, so the decisions are all yours. Take it away. Okay, so the first thing we do here, as we always have done, like I say, is find our ancestor. So let's have a look. I'll go back to mine here and get to the end, which is December here, and winter, midwinter. And here we go. I didn't realise I'd written so much. I've written a huge amount. Now, when I started this off, I created the sigil. I put the sigil on the page that I created at the beginning of the year. And I did this as I've been doing it sporadically throughout the book. And I thought, well, this is the last time I'm going to be really journaling in as far as this project is concerned. So I want to keep the protection on it, okay? My energy. And I found that the person that I was working with was a court card, and it was the Page of Cups. So somebody young, somebody vibrant, somebody enthusiastic, and somebody who was full of emotions and with an eagerness to go on. And I moved on from there and went and started the Ghost of December spread. Now, for this particular spread, I decided to use 2 decks. I used, and the reason for this was, you had to split your deck up into majors, minors and courts. And for this particular one, I needed two court cards. So the court cards, I drew 2 court cards from the Robin Wood Tarot, and for the rest of the spread I used Tarot of the Abyss. The reason I did that was because a bit lazy, I suppose, because I didn't want to have to go and divide another deck. My Robin Hood was already set out as it has been this whole year. But I also wanted to ensure that any other cards that I pulled, that though, because I had to specifically draw 2 courts, that should those courts need to appear again in the spread, that there was the opportunity for them to. So that they were there and they had the opportunity to come out anywhere else. I wasn't stifling a full deck, okay? So that was my thinking behind it. You don't have to do that. It doesn't say to do that in the book. That was my choice. So let's have a look. What does this spread ask us? There are 9 cards in this spread and 9 questions. Question 1 and question 7 are the court cards. So question 1, who is the ghost or ancestor of the present, the one closest to me today? And again, that had to be the court card, and that's where I got my Page of Cups. Then Tower of the Abyss for 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and they are, what is their message about my past year? What is their message for my coming year? And how can they help me to end the year successfully? What is their magic? How can they help me with my magic? Question 7 was the other court card. What was the theme of their life? Not court card, sorry, major arcana. So it's 1 court, 1 major. What was the theme of their life? So again, from the tarot of the Robin Hood tarot, my major arcana was the Empress, which fitted really well. You know, this the Page of Cups, which was like this bubbling, enthusiastic person, but at the same time had this maternal, nourishing, supporting role. Question 8, what is their gift to me? And question 9, what form of magic did I inherit from this ancestor? So I laid my cards out as they've asked us to. I made a note to myself here as to which decks I used, and then I proceeded to answer each of those questions. I had written the questions down in my grimoire, so they're here for reference. Should I pass this book down through the generations? Imagine that. If I ever do have grandchildren, they grow up and go, oh, R9 must have been a bit of a witch. Yep. So the next few pages are all the answers to those questions, and I won't go through them because those would be personal to me, and just as yours will be personal to you. So it was a very insightful spread. It actually sat well with me and meant quite a lot, I have to be honest. So as you delve into this spread, remember that every card is in a tarot deck has both a message and a lesson. If you draw the 7 of Swords, for example, for position 4 in the Ghost of December spread, what's the message you're hearing and what's the lesson? So what's question 4? How can they help me end the year successfully? So is it possible that your ancestor is suggesting that you're best served by leaving some things behind, but taking others, such as ideas, moving forward with them? Is the lesson about this the risk associated with dishonesty? Okay, so the dishonesty would be, has somebody betrayed you? Have you potentially or either knowingly or unknowingly betrayed somebody else, or unwittingly betrayed somebody else? And was it a lesson that you had to learn? Okay, so it's that if you were to draw the 7 of Swords as to how they can help you end the year successfully, it's open your eyes. Do you need to move forward, leaving part of you or part of your belongings behind? Do you need to be aware of what's going on around you with the behaviours of others, or do you need to be aware of your own behaviour towards others? So if you can sit down, ask yourself that, if you do draw the 7 of Swords here, we can actually learn things about ourselves. Gosh, I didn't realise that I did that, or oh, that came as a shock, I didn't expect that from so-and-so, etc., etc. Okay. The 9 cards, when added to our grimoire, can pull back the curtain on much that's been previously hidden from us. And it really can, it's quite amazing. We moved on from that spread to December's shadows. Now, December's shadows, it's sort of looking at the not the negative side at all, but looking at the shadowy side of things. So, for instance, December shadows, speaking of the hidden, December can be a time of dark shadows. Well, let's look outside, for instance. We have dark days here in Ireland. We have even darker nights. It gets dark at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's all about shadows. And, you know, sometimes we sort of turn into a tortoise and pull into our little homes, and we're surrounded by darkness, and some people loneliness, which is another form of darkness. So, you know, the joy felt by many people at this time can be painful for others, and we should be aware of that. Okay, so let's have a look. December can be deep wounds for someone with painful memories of December's past or present. And just because something unpleasant happened decades ago doesn't mean the wound has healed. And this is where things can trigger you. This is where things can cause you more pain. Memories can bring back those old hurt feelings, as we know. Okay. The energy, sort of, although it's counterintuitive, the energies of December support shadow work, perhaps more than any other month. If this resonates for you, go ahead and do this spread using a tarot or an oracle. Now, it's 5 cards, and you can lay them out whichever way you like. There's no set layout for them. For me, I sort of set it out a bit like a Christmas tree. So that's how I set mine out. Okay, so some of this I might share, part of it I might not. So let's have a look. What limiting beliefs about myself did I learn in childhood? And I drew the devil. And the limiting beliefs of myself that I learned in childhood would be pretty much, let's get where I wrote my answer to this. I'll share this one with you. I don't mind sharing this. Now, my limiting belief is that I am not open or too fond of working alone, okay? I am bound to those who can be quite toxic, that I need to be guided, led rather than lead, that I should listen and take the advice or guidance of others in charge, through giving them respect because of positioning in life, the positions they hold in life, as opposed to their personality or moral compass. Have I been overly guided, too eager to please, rather than just being me? Now, that is in no way meant as a negative reflection on how I was brought up. I was brought up to have respect for authority and for my elders. I was brought up to sort of, you do as you're told, you know, that sort of do as I say, not as I do. It was a completely different time, and I would imagine that there are people my age now, and some younger, some older, who would say, well, yeah, that was society at the time. Society now is extremely different. You know, respect has to be earned. It doesn't matter who you are in life and what position you hold. You can be somebody in their lofty or ivory towers, but because you're up in these lofty ivory towers does not mean people respect you, because your behaviours or your attitudes or your morals might turn and put people off you. And, you know, that person might have everything, but they're not nice people. And in this day and age, people won't respect you because they have to. People respect you on what you do through your behaviours, your reactions to others, your interaction in society as a whole. So whereas before, the devil card isn't that I was chained to people per se, but I was chained by society, by the niceties in society, by the well, you know, I'm a girl and girls don't do this type of thing. So that's from my childhood. Have I carried it with me throughout my life? Well, I am my parents' daughter, and I became me fairly early on. A little bit sassy, quiet, studious, a bit on the nerdy side, But I became me within my own right, and my surroundings will tell you that. And so, albeit in childhood I felt a little bit bound by social norms at that time, I broke free from that early on in my teenage years. So that really did give me food for thought, and that's how these 5 questions, they sort of dig deep. So the second one, how does that belief manifest today? How can I confront the belief in a healthy manner? All about positivity, all about building yourself up, and about being you. What action can I take to move beyond this belief? I do believe I've taken that, and here I am. And what magic can my December ancestor work on my behalf? Well, let's have a look what the answer to that one was. I had the Two of Pentacles. To enable me to find a healthy balance, that I do not become the toxic person. Okay, so yes, that's another thing. My friends, it's okay to say they were toxic. I can't blame people for leading me astray, because I made choices. But the group of some of the people, some, not all, of the people that I hung around with did go on to become, well, not to have such easy lives. They made life difficult for themselves, and I did break away from that. But even as an adult, it's taught me to be discerning in who I give my time to, so that I don't become a toxic individual. I would like to think that I promote positivity and support people. Toxicity is something that breaks you down. It breaks me down. I cannot cope in toxic environments, and I have to walk away from them. The Two of Pentacles also lets me see 2 sides of every coin, so that I can have good and bad days, and to help me address both accordingly, to see the light and the shadow and in others, and to not be afraid of being me. Okay, so those are the December shadows, and like I say, it's very deep, very meaningful, and really thought-provoking. I think if you're not careful, and if you've got unhealed issues, it's something you want to proceed with caution, because you don't want it stirring you up and upsetting you. Now, the you that is magic. Materials for this are a tarot card, an index card, pictures of your choosing, and glue. And we are getting back to making another card for ourselves. So I didn't use a tarot card. For this one, you can base your own personal card on an already a card that already exists, and create your own version of that card, or you can create your own on an index card, okay, or a blank tarot card if you have any. So if you know your own potent magic, which I pretty much feel I do, you don't need to draw the card, okay? But if you don't, shuffle an entire deck, asking what you need to know about your own magic this month. Draw 1 card and make your own version of that card. You may want to sketch the card in your grimoire, or create one using a blank index card. As I said in January, this isn't the same as creating a wishing board. It's far more magical than that, as it plants your magical flag on this day. Although I know my own magic, I did go ahead and draw a card. Not surprisingly, it was the 6 of Cups. For me, the Ancestor card. This is how that card reflects in my magic today. What does yours look like? Well, I chose not to pull a card. Instead, I chose images, and I wrote about the images around the card. Okay, so I have writing in the background. You can see writing in the background here. Okay, and that's my ability to communicate, especially through writing. Then I've got plants, herbology, and plant foraging and growing, which also brings in manifesting. A butterfly flying free to my own tune, and in the background I have musical notes, so you can see the butterfly and the musical notes. Okay. distancing myself from negativity, identifying, I can't read my writing there, I do apologise. Oh, identifying medicine from poison, positivity from toxicity and negativity. So those were the plants again, identifying food or poison. Okay, what's going to make me grow? What's going to be a lesson? What's going to be a blessing? Okay. Appreciating solitude here. And equally appreciating everything around me, looking inside, and believing, and delving into all, sorry. Then I had another one up here, not being controlled, needing only my seal and stamp of approval. So I'm not being controlled by others. Others not telling me what to do. I use my own stamp and seal of approval and my magnifying glass, which is looking inside and searching deeply. Okay, so that's my own magic. Now we then have the Deep in Winter Ancestral Tarot spread. And this Deep in Winter Ancestral Tarot spread is a 7-card spread, and it's like the bridge, okay, or a pyramid, or the outline of a pyramid. And in this spread, you start at the bottom. Let me just find it here for you. Okay, Deep in Winter, we start down here and we work our way up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And the questions are, what magical beliefs need healing? What magical belief needs creating? What needs my fire? What magical ability is waiting to be seen? What is my unique magic? What dreams can come true? And what needs to stay frozen until spring? And that was again a very interesting spread that, once again, every single one of them giving you food for thought. Now, there was one section here that I've just... manifesting your own magic. Now, I said you needed a ball. So I've got I decorated this with glitter and paint, okay? And this is my manifesting ball. I haven't sealed it over yet with this little seal because there are still things I want to put into it. So this is still an ongoing little aspect to this part that I'm keeping going. And so far, what have I put into it? I've put 3 I Ching coins for luck. And I've actually put in 22 miniature tarot cards from the tiny tarot deck. And the reason there's 22 in there, they're not all major arcanas. It just so happens that by the time I finished deciding what I wanted in there was 22 of them. I have a mixture of majors and minors in this ball here. And they're all cards with a positive slant, such as the World, such as the 4 of Wands, the 9 of Cups, the 10 of Cups, the Hermit, the Chariot, Judgment, or not Judgment, sorry, Justice, the World card, the Sun card, and so on and so forth. And the reason I've put those in there, the positive aspects of that, I'm putting in here for manifesting. So I want to manifest all the goodness that all the good messages and tools that come with those particular tarot cards. And they're, like I say, they're in here also to remind me that I can, because tarot is a tool that helps us access our intuitiveness, helps us access our energy, an ability to read energy, and to tell us, we can do. So that's going in here. I'm going to be putting some plant in there, some rosemary. I'm going to be putting some cinnamon in there. And all this is positive because after the last number of years, I'd say the last 8 years, I've had journeys through cancer, through pneumonia, through sepsis. I've had people who have been in my life exit my life because the journey was just too much for them. I don't hold that against them at all. It's very difficult to maintain a friendship with people who are struggling so much, because it can bring you down if you are not strong enough to be able to carry or assist in carrying that person. And I didn't like people carrying me either. I like to think I could carry myself. I did have to rely on others a lot, and I'm here stronger thanks to their input. But our time had come, and it was time for us to part, and for each person that's left to go on their own route in life. There were people that were blessings, but there were, I'd say, 3 people that were lessons that I have learnt, and it was a harsh lesson for me, and that was just before I was diagnosed with the cancer, and that's within that 8-year period. And to be quite honest with you, it's been a continual 8 years now. We've had so many positive times, and people say, "Oh my God, Elaine, cancer, sepsis, pneumonia, neutropenia," when I was going through the treatment, and a number of other things, financial issues, etc., etc. And people say, "You're so unlucky." Not at all. I am one of the luckiest people that have walked this planet. I'm here. I'm alive. I have a loving family, and I have a nice, small, close circle of trusted friends. I have a lovely extended family, and I have a strength, and I have health at this moment in time. And that's something else that will be going in here, something to represent my health, that mine, my husband, and my children, and my extended family and friends, that their health is good right for the foreseeable future. So all this is the sort of thing I want to manifest. I want things to take a bit of a turn where I don't want to, not every single day excellent things and, gifts from the gods have got to fall on us, but that we can have peace, happiness, tranquility, and have a path that's smooth for a while, a good while. So that's what my manifestation ball has in it, okay? So that's where we come to manifesting our own magic. And this manifesting ball, although it was a Christmas bauble, it's not a Christmas bauble, it's not going on any tree. This is going to sit here hanging in my room to remind me that it's how we perceive things, how we turn the negative into a positive, and how we can believe in ourselves that will help us manifest everything good that we want for ourselves and others. So we then come to what have you discovered? And this is where we go back once again to creating a sigil. Now, for this sigil, this is private, you keep it for you, but the instructions are there, okay? Now, I don't know about you, but I've learned a lot about my own magical skills this year. I have indeed. My revelations have to do with working with ancestors who could merge their magic with star magic. As the year ends, let's create a sigil for our magical lineage and our own magic. So you can refer back to how you create a sigil. Remember, it's on a grid, a 9 square grid, that's 3 by 3. Each grid has letters in it, and I actually did my letters quite differently to the ones in the book, because it's A, J, S, B, K, T, C, L, U. I did mine A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, etc. I did mine in alphabetical format. And the sigil I've got here, I am going to do it in this format to see how different the sigil is, and I will combine the 2 sigils. Now, you pick a word, you take out the letters of that word, and if there are repeated letters, you just take one off, that you don't use the same letter twice, etc. Then you do your daily draw, and coming to the end, this is only a short chapter, to be honest. So you do your daily draw, and my daily draw was the moon, okay? So basically, because December is a time of gift giving, I suggest that your daily draw, to interpret every daily draw you do during December, read it as a gift. Regardless as to the card that you've drawn, read it as a gift. So it doesn't matter how negative you feel that card is, but you look at it as to how you can receive it as a true blessing now in your life. For me, I drew the moon. And for this comes under as I was saying, I want things to be better. We've had, there's been some squabbles here in where we live. Thank goodness it hasn't directly impacted us, but it's left an air of tension where we lived. And it's in very recent days, much has been revealed to me. Today could bring an unexpected surprise that will further open my eyes to what has been hidden from me, and actually it did. I can't go into that. Know that I do not walk this road alone. I know that I do not walk this road alone, but there has been support of my the support of my loved ones and my guides, as well as family and friends. Okay, so the moon has revealed something to me. It did reveal something to me, quite surprisingly so. And then when it makes you think to yourself, how can people actually think like that? Unfortunately, they do. We then look at gifts from our ancestors. Okay, this moves on. You draw 3 cards. First card is the gift, the second is the magical elements, and 3 is its power. So I got the 7 of Cups, the Hermit, and the Knight of Cups. And mine is the gift of choice. And the gift of choice, as long as I make the right choices for me and that don't harm myself or others, that's the route I take. And that's how the reading went. Now, what we do here is the last chapter called The Turning of the Tables, and I chose to do this one. And you draw 1 card for each month. So for January, the ancestor of inherited magic wants to know what part of your inherited magic needs more scrutiny, and that's how it goes through for the years. So you go through each month, you draw a card for each month, and you answer the question that's within the book. Again, it makes you think, it makes you look at your skills and your talents, and it makes you look at life. Okay. Now in December, I drew, for this month, would you believe, I drew the Death card. And how can I claim back my power? How can I claim back my power? Well, if we look at the past 8 years, as I explained earlier, and I want a more positive life going ahead. Now, my life is pretty positive, but I just want those irksome negativities and toxicity and health issues to just do one, okay? So how can you claim back your power? This is the December question. The card I drew was Death, and I don't mind sharing this with you. By accepting and responding to change, by noting that change equals growth, and leaving behind anything that no longer serves us, seeing that change builds strength, character, and more often a much more positive attitude, viewpoint, and way of life, because we want that change. So we can see the positivity in getting the Death card and saying, well, yes, that's what I want. I want change. And that now is saying, you can go on and do this, Elaine. You've got it. There you go. The cards have spoken. Now, you then write a little piece on what you know about your own magic and your own belief, okay? I will share this with you as well. Today I know that my most potent form of magic is belief, particularly self-belief. This enables me to have faith when calling on my ancestors, have strength of character, and a mindset switched on to succeed. It gives me faith in my strength and ability to not only help myself, but help others through both good and hard times. Belief means I can do. You then ask why you were drawn here. Why were you really drawn here to work through this? I drew the 10 of Wands. So why was I drawn to this program? To ask for help in carrying my lot in life, to ask my ancestors to show me that I am on the right path, that the loads I have carried and the loads that I am and will carry in the future were, are and will be manageable, that they and others will guide and assist me on this path through truth, honesty, ability, love, and most of all, magic. The journey through the book of ancestral magic may have ended. Now the next steps are the true start to allowing my ancestors to guide me. to guide me through life by seeing the signs, listening, sensing the energy, and embracing my personal history. Be proud, be magical. And on that note ends our Ancestral Grimoire journey. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you haven't got this book, I do recommend it. I do recommend the first book, which is Ancestral Tarot. And then you have the second book, Ancestral Grimoire. To me, as I've said in here now, this is now the start of me living my life in a manner that embraces everything that I have learnt this last year, putting into practice what I enjoy, such as my gardening, foraging and herb work, herb magic and creating, and to pass that love on to my own. So, folks, that's it. Take care, and I'll see you soon. I don't even know what my next video is going to be about. Look after yourselves and have a wonderful Yule, Christmas, holiday. Bye-bye now.